This is a message for all the light workers and heart-centered leaders on the planet. Everyone who feels driven by something bigger than themselves. Maybe it is a spark inside your heart or your soul that's calling you forward, or just this deep inner knowing that you are here to help create positive change and help bring new systems, new structures, new ways of being to the planet. Firstly, way to go. Thank you for signing up for something that probably feels incredibly challenging a lot of the time and something that can feel really isolating and disheartening. And the reason why I say this is because when you are here to pave a new way, when you are here to lead, you are going against years and years, decades, generations of things operating differently, right? So it's not just you stepping into your confidence, your empowerment in your life and showing up from that place, but it's you literally pulling off the shackles or the chains or the ways that things have been run on the planet and having to show up in a completely different light. So I was reflecting on this morning because this is typically the beautiful souls that I attract and that I have supported over the past 6 years in my coaching business, and just looking at the ways that it can be so difficult and you can feel so unsupported because people around you really don't get it. And it's only when you connect with other people with similar visions or like-minded uh, motivation and belief in creating something better that you start to feel less alone in that process. And it really got me thinking about how, you know, so often those of us who are here to create really big changes, and I want to note that this could be just like breaking generational patterns and creating different ways of being in your children and your children's children and like your family lineage. It could also be on a global impact scale and something that you're creating that's like new. And I was just talking with one of my very first Thrive students earlier this morning. She's one of my best friends now, and she's doing incredible things in Australia with training service dogs and supporting the owners through their mental health issues and PTSD, and really just creating this deeper connection between dog and owner and the ways that they communicate and can work in tandem, and supporting both the animal and the human in their nervous system. And this is something that she's built huge impact across the country and been recognized for doing things very uniquely and paving the way. And so you could be doing something that's like kind of the first in your area, or kind of like out there and different and potentially even radical, right? Now, if you're in that spot, then I'm sure you've come up against challenges of, how do I hold this vision? How do I feel confident and remain confident if people around me just don't get it? And I remember before I started my online coaching business in 2018, I felt that way a lot, where it was like this incredibly deep feeling within me that I was here to do some really big things. And I've always really felt connected to the butterfly effect and that ripple effect, where if I help 100 people and then they get to show up in a different way and they ripple out to the people they come in contact with, it creates this interwoven web that's literally wrapping all the way around the earth in some capacity. But I remember being so upset and so hurt, and often it really affected my motivation. It really pulled me back at times because I didn't have people around me who got it. And I would try to explain to my parents, like, you don't get it. It's not just this simple thing. It's not just like this simple job. It's not this simple little desire. It's like this burning within me that is never going to be satisfied if I don't step up further and if I don't follow this different path. It was truly by honoring that I was then able to continue to expand and grow. And I still feel like I've done nothing, to be honest. I'm like hard on myself that way, where it really doesn't feel. I'm working on feeling satisfied with it because it has been beautiful, but there's always been this deep inner knowing of the expansiveness of what I'm here to do and the different facets and everything. But it was this drive to be misunderstood and this willingness to pursue things, even if the people around me really didn't get it. So if you're listening to this, this is just my message of support and so much love and compassion and empathy for you, because maybe you are at the beginning of this journey and you're feeling like I was at that time, or maybe you've been, plugging away and showing up and committing to your craft and you've been making waves, but there still is this sadness at times about not being understood by the people around you. And what dropped in for me this morning was just the reminder that not everyone is meant to understand it, that some people might not understand your path and your passions and the things that you're committing to until years down the road, right? We often hear that saying about how we don't really, you see your true supporters from the beginning, but how a lot of people will show up once you've achieved the thing, right? They'll ridicule or question or doubt when you're starting and when you're talking about it because they just don't understand. And it's a future paradigm. Like, you're tapping into something that hasn't been created here yet. You're tapping into a future potential reality, and you're seeing it and you're saying, hey, I believe I can create this. And if they can't see that, and if they can't expand beyond their limited construct of reality, they're not going to get it. And so you might spend years pushing through, persevering, creating that. And eventually, when you've reached a certain endpoint, or you've got a physical, tangible product or like outcome, or something that is kind of proof that you've done it, then they might jump on board. Then they might say they understand, or they might try to support you. It's really not anything to do with them being bad people. Oftentimes it's just that, how would I say it? You're literally like drawing from the quantum field. You're drawing from future and trying to bridge it into the present. And not everyone's meant to see that or able to see that, which is why, more than anything, your embodiment, your sense of self, your ability to hold that vision and stay true to it no matter what, is so key. Because one day you will get there, one day you will have those things, and you'll have created the future that you always knew was possible. And it's going to be so worth it, right? You're going to be at that stage of looking around, seeing these things that you've helped to create, or this ripple that you've sent out. And you're going to be so grateful that you did it, regardless of who you maybe lost along the way, or who maybe doubted you or didn't understand. And for me, the biggest thing has been in releasing the need to prove, the need to over explain what I'm doing. I think that's the key is like I want so badly for people to see what I see or to believe what I know is possible, what I know is available, and what I know is destined and it's like meant to happen. And I want to explain it to the naysayers or the doubters or those who can't see that vision. And it's been a process to start pulling that energy back and letting go of that need to explain to them, letting go of that need to have that external approval or validation. Probably a bit of that stems from childhood of like the little child looking to her parents or her teachers and like wanting that approval, wanting that mark or that, you know, yay, you did it, that kind of validation. And having to be like, my connection to myself, my connection to source is validation. The vibration I feel when I take action towards this is validation. The alignment in my heart and soul by pursuing this is validation. The fact that I cannot imagine another path for myself is validation, right? Really installing a deep belief within myself to keep pushing forward until the final product is there, until it all is materialized in the 3D and we can see it all. So I just want to celebrate you. I want to send you extra love and validation, I guess. I'm doing what I just said not to look for, which is like, don't look for validation, believe in yourself. And then I'm here being like, I'm going to give you validation. I believe in you. But it's kind of the pep talk I wish someone would have given me years ago. And I just want to encourage you to hold the vision and really build more strength around it, build more um, solidity in it so that you can keep holding it, you can keep feeling it, you can keep grounding it in and knowing that no matter what anyone else thinks, like if this is what feels so resonant to your soul, and if this is the divine guidance you're being led, the path you're being led down, then trust that and do whatever you can each day to reinforce that, to make it stronger, right? For me, this is where the subconscious reprogramming work and energy healing, hypnosis is like so important because those defaults kick in, and even that need for validation or that looking for that external support instead of like, no, just hold it. Trust yourself. Trust that you've got this. Trust your path. It can be really helpful for me to have these different tools in my toolbox each day to guide me forward and push me forward on this path. So I've got a ton of links in the description down below to support you depending on where you're at on your journey. And if you're looking for any kind of assistance with this as well, you can check those out. And I just want to leave you with a deep, deep feeling of reverence and appreciation because the vision that you hold and the desires of things that you want to build, they probably are not of this earth. They probably are something that hasn't been seen or hasn't been normalized on this planet, and yet is so needed, it's so necessary, and it's going to benefit so many people, right? It's holistic. It's finally releasing some of the really outdated, toxic ways of being and doing things to benefit everyone. So if that's what you're here for, please don't let anything hold you back or anything stop you from that path. Just like my Thrive student turned best friend, you know, she had so much different programming, so much in her environment, in her community, in her family that wasn't really understanding her vision or wasn't always supporting what she knew she was here to create. And I'm so glad she did the inner work and the mindset work to follow it and to go after it no matter what, because now she's helping so many, and it's really a testament of like, when you follow your alignment and when you allow the divine to move through you, so many miracles can take place, such a big impact can be created, and at the end of the day, you'll surprise yourself and others with what you create, but it won't even matter because you're doing it from your heart and from your passion, and the outcome is just like the beautiful icing on the cake. So I am sending you so much love, so much energetic support rippling out to you wherever you are listening to this, and so much encouragement to keep going one day at a time, one step at a time. And I will talk to you again soon.